Welcome back to another terrifying true story. There's a stretch of Interstate 10 in the West Texas desert where the horizon stretches out into absolute nothingness, and the darkness feels heavy enough to crush you. Truckers call it the Ghost Lane. The local legend says if you drive it between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., you'll see a hitchhiker standing under the lone, flickering street lamp near mile marker 82. My name is Ethan. Last November, I was driving my sedan back from El Paso. I was running on nothing but cheap gas station coffee and pure exhaustion, desperately trying to make it home before dawn. The highway was completely dead. There wasn't another pair of headlights for 50 miles. The digital dashboard clock flipped to 3:14 a.m. just as my high beams caught a solitary figure standing by the edge of the asphalt. It was a man wearing a faded, oversized denim jacket, his head bowed so low his chin touched his chest. I knew the legend. I knew I was supposed to keep my foot glued to the accelerator. But just as I neared him, a sudden, violent gust of desert wind slammed into the side of my sedan, causing the car to sway across the white lines. In a moment of pure panic and reflex, I tapped my brakes to stabilize the vehicle. The bright red glow of my brake lights illuminated the man's face for a fraction of a second. He snapped his head up. He had no eyes, just deep, hollow, bleeding sockets pouring a thick, black fluid down his pale, leathery cheeks. And he was grinning, a jagged smile that stretched unnaturally from ear to ear. Terror shot straight to my gut. I slammed my foot back down on the gas pedal, the engine roaring as I sped away into the night. I stared at my rearview mirror, watching his pale silhouette fade away until it was swallowed by the black desert. I breathed a massive sigh of relief, trying to stop my hands from shaking against the steering wheel. I told myself it was just a hallucination brought on by lack of sleep. I thought I was safe. Then, the car radio began to hiss with static, cutting out the music entirely. The temperature inside the cabin plummeted in a matter of seconds. It became so brutally cold that my breath instantly turned to thick, white ice in the air. From the empty back seat, a freezing, wet hand slowly reached forward and rested heavily on my right shoulder. A voice sounding like dry autumn leaves scraping against pavement whispered right against the back of my neck. "Thanks for stopping. It's a long walk to the next town." I didn't look in the rearview mirror. I knew if I looked him in the face, I'd lose control of the car. Instead, I screamed, pressed the gas pedal to the floor, and drove 90 miles an hour through the dark until the sun finally cracked over the Texas horizon. The moment the first ray of sunlight hit the windshield, the freezing cold vanished from the car, leaving behind only a dark, damp stain on the fabric of the back seat. I sold that sedan the very next day for a fraction of what it was worth. The dealership asked me why I was getting rid of it so fast, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them the truth. I still drive for a living, but I strictly work daylight hours now. Because sometimes, when I'm lying in my bed in the dead of night, the room turns freezing cold, and I can hear the distinct, heavy sound of wet denim shifting in the darkness right behind my head. Like and follow for more late-night nightmares. Comment below if you've ever seen something unexplainable on a dark highway, and tell me, would you have stopped?